Well, gonna start off with some mule deer hair. It's a new patch, so I haven't tied to this one yet. Got a nice dark top, pretty classic mule deer. That's gonna be our tail and our cap. And we're going to start off with a flattened clump. Basically, our gap height for the tail. This is going to thin out, I'm assuming this is going to thin out a good bit once we cut her off. Like I say, it's a new patch, so dropping something. There we go. Alright. Since we're just using this part for the tail mostly, and then we're going to do the top cap with it. Clean it out pretty good, get rid of all the short stuff. See how much under fur's in this one. Whew, there's a good chunk, eh? Hey Yoshi, good morning, mate. Good to see you. Hopefully your morning's going well. We're doing a, well, its more common name would be the Crazy Goof, but its original name was just Yellow Bodied Gray Back. It's very similar to the Tom Thumb we were tying the other day, except we were using hackle for the front, and it's got a yellow chenille body with some wraps on it. And I'm switching over to some, you might have saw there's some more traditional mule deer hair. This one was made, this is an older pattern, it was made in 45 in the Bozeman area, south of Seattle. Not really sure who made it, but someone in that area. There might be a little bit of short fibers in this bunch, so we're gonna try it on this one. See if I need to clean it out up a hair to get everything to sit where I want her. Well, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. Hey, Robert. You got the same little brush? Yeah, I got this. This one just came off Temu, man. I have many different ones. Where's my other? I got gobs of different styles. But in any event, you've probably seen the regular eyelash ones, which I'm assuming that's what they're for. But I found that this metal comb insert on this one worked really well for not adding static to it, so it helps a good deal for that. Where the plastic eyebrow brushes, I'm assuming that's what they're, added a fair bit of static to the fur. So I'm having better luck with that one. Alright, so we're going to be tying this in here, and then I'm going to be capping it back over top, and we're doing a chenille, yellow chenille. I got a couple to play with here. Got this old vintage light yellow, which is going to be your more traditional color, because they didn't have like pop and yellow like this back in the day. So we're going to try a couple each. Okay, so we're going to measure that off to be just a little under the gap, or under the shank length. This is size 10, just like we were tying on last night. Could have went to an 8 or a 6 for this one for sure, but didn't. Let's bring our thread up. Want to be between the point and the barb there for tying. I'm gonna try and get her to sit up top here. That's not bad, actually. Really happy with that. And again, as it's a more traditional pattern, we're using our black uni thread. Just gonna do some lighter wraps going back here to hold it in. Okay, there we be. That'll do. But you want kind of a poofy tail on this one, a little more poofy than we were doing on the Tom Thumbs. Just trying to decide if I want to go with the original vintage chenille. I think we'll do that for our first one here. I got this little piece left. I think that'll be enough to get a body in, so let's just use that up. Just looking for my hackle pliers. I'm just going to use the hackle pliers here, so I don't have to tie this in twice. You can cut this off and then reset it. Actually, I'm gonna do this a little backwards. I'm gonna tie this in up front, and then I'll bring my thread back and then wrap it. We'll try that. Okay, we're gonna go back up tying point, tie this in up there, and I'll bring it back. And then we'll use our... The other way you can do it is just tie in a thread to chase it. As they do, the traditional pattern calls for the back to be chased with the thread for segmentation, and just to hold everything together, make it a little more durable than a Tom Thumb. Alright, and with this vintage chenille, it's flat, so we need to kind of puff it up. And after we puff it up, we'll spin it. Yeah, I think that should be enough to get us where we need to get going. And I'll see if that yellow is yellow enough for our purposes. Thinking that the traditional, or the modern yellow chenille is just going to be a little bit too much of like a sunflower yellow pop that I'm not really looking for on this fly. So This one should work fine. Just bringing my thread slowly, fighting the chenille, back to what's going to be our tying point for the body there. And then once we got that poofed up a bit, we're just going to twist it. That'll give us our round chenille body. This is old chenille, so this is probably, I don't know if it goes quite back 60s, but it's definitely going to be 60s, 70s, somewhere there. Yeah, and if you're boring the wife's makeup stuff, don't tell her. It's not really makeup stuff, it's fly tying stuff. It's just in her makeup bag. Okay, there we go, right to the back. Get that nice and tight in there. I think I got it right around the butt there. Good. Okay, good deal. I get a good 3 or 4 wraps. Right at the base there without disturbing that top cap too much. Okay, now we can cut that out. I did actually have more. I got enough to probably do 2 flies with this a little bit, but I'm not gonna chance it with the next one. Next time I might actually tie that off on the top so the top cap kind of covers that. Alright, what we're going to do is gather all this up. I do have a few shorter ones in there, which might be a little bit of an issue for me. You can see some on this side. They might be long enough to go across though, so we're just going to go with it. Like I said, I was having some indications that might be an issue. When I was stacking, I saw a lot of shorties fall down, so I didn't clean it out quite as well as I should have. Get all those tail fibers to become tail fibers again. You can see that one short one popping up. We might be able to pin them down there, okay? There we go. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. It looks good to me. One tail fiber hanging out on the bottom there as well. Okay, we're just going to do a slow spiral. Yeah, that'll do. I think I got that even or spaced out kind of where I want it. And again, this is just to show a little bit of segmentation and to hold that top cap in. And once we get to our tie-in point here, we're going to need to do 3 wraps. Just loose, we don't want to flare the end too much. Excuse me. There we go. Yeah, that's beauty. See, I got 1 or 2 little short guys that popped out, but that's gonna happen. This is fairly soft hair, and a few misbehaving tail fibers, but we can clean all that up after. Overall, though, I'm happy with that. That looks pretty good. Let's not flare that out again. Okay, we're going to do 3 moving forward. I'm just going to do 3 kind of moderate, more wraps to hold that in. Okay, now we're going to get rid of that and bind it down. I'm going to be cutting it off on an angle this way once I bunch it. That'll make a bit of a step, make it a little easier to bunch together. Come on, you. Got a couple going sideways on me here. That worked okay. I think I'll pay a little more attention to stacking it next time, but that did work. There we go. Let's clean up those couple. Beauty. That's much better. So yeah, when we cut the head like that, that'll help us with our not only binding it down, but giving us, you need to have a bit of a base to put the hackle in, which can be our next step. We just want to bring this forward to where we're going to make our head and then bind it on our way back, or the pieces will just kind of pop all over the place. And that'll give us our flat enough area to tie in the hackle with. I didn't really have any hackle pre-prepared, so I'm gonna have to find some on these two capes I got kicking around. Fortunately, my other capes are behind the tripod, so I don't want to have to move the camera to get them. But I think we can make this work. It might be a little more on the bushy side since this is a... Well, this is a saddle, not a cape anyway. So yeah, this is a saddle. But I typically use these for my kind of bushier flies because it's a pretty big saddle. I'm sure I can find a couple in here that'll work though. These are all pretty big. Here, give me a moment. Sorry guys, apologize for that. I didn't have some hackle ready. Well, this is just a mess of random hackle, but I think I can get a couple out of here that'll work fine. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, this'll do. I'm gonna use this up anyway. Nothing wrong with either one. It's just normally I'd be using that for like a woolly bugger body or something that's just not quite what we're doing here, but that's all good. This one looks like will be good. Yeah. Alright. So on this fly, the traditional pattern, actually try these two here. The traditional tying pattern says to have two hackles facing each other so that you're tying with the dull side out and doubling them up. Really don't think it matters terribly much if you just used a single hackle, but for kicks and giggles we're going to double our hackle up and make it all the more difficult on myself. So we're going to take our two hackles, shiny side together, we got our dull side out, which is really common with a lot of vintage patterns, but the dull side is the facing side. I prefer my shiny side out myself. Then, in my opinion, that's the pretty part of the feather. I want the iridescence and everything, but again, back in the day, it was a lot more common to have the dull side out. And we're just going to tie that in up top here and tie them in together on my side of the hook. I'm just going to bind them in nice and tight all the way back down to where we're going to start our head, which will be our tie-off point. I'm just going to throw in 1/2 hitch to hold it. And we'll make a nice bushy collar that's slightly pushed back. Some hackle pliers here. I'm just going to use the traditional, get them out of my tool tray, there we go. Just going to use traditional small hackle pliers for this. I'm not going to use the rotary hackle pliers. I'm going to attempt to keep them pinned together. I think we'll manage fine. I don't know if I'm going to need a whole lot of wraps with 2 of these guys together. The idea is to make a dull looking messy hackle front. Like that. Ooh, did I pop? You naughty little thing. Thought I had you in there. At least it didn't unwrap. Let's fix that. I'm just going to push a little bit of these guys out of the way. So I'm not trapping as many. Looks like it's wrapping pretty good though, I have to admit. I think that's all I'm going to get on this one. Okay, so we're just going to bring it up, tag it off. Just slightly slipped on there. Try and push this back. Trapped a few there. I want to keep them, so there, that'll work. Let's get a 1/2 hitch on there as a save point, and that is your traditional crazy goof. And I can tell just by looking at it that this would be great for mid-early season when the hoppers are out. A lot of our hoppers are going to have that same coloration for terrestrials jumping on the water. Beauty. That worked good for a quick hackle selection. Didn't quite get that second one. Yeah, happy with that. That turned out quite well. No worries, Robert. I think I might have missed you there. Sorry, mate. Enjoy work. I'm going to be going there shortly. Thought I'd do a little tying in the morning, enjoy a nice cup of tea. Oh, come on now. Let's start that again. Thread slipped on me. Paying too much attention to the hackle bits, not my thread. You bugger. One or two more wraps. Manage it. I'm getting too much haircut. There we go. Beauty. Yeah, I'm happy with that little guy. Let's trim off our... And yeah, I do think I like the vintage colored chenille better. Hey, Glacier Shark. Yeah, it's fluffy. It's called a Crazy Goof. It's a more traditional version of Tom Thumbs I was tying yesterday, and honestly, it's a lot more durable. I have actually almost as much, like these work a little bit better if you're fishing like a creek or a stream, because they're more durable, so they can handle the sticks and rocks and junk you're gonna bang up on. Yeah, it's actually not too far off from one of those bombers. I need to tie some of those. I really like a lot of Atlantic salmon flies, especially like the classic ones like the Undertakers and Thunder and Lightnings and all that. They just have a different look and different character to them that really appeases me, even if it's from the other side of the continent. I'm sure they'd work just fine here too, to be honest. Get this on there without getting any too much on our hackle. He's a happy little fat deal though, eh? Oh, good little bug. Happy with that. Yeah, so that's from where are we sitting at here? 1946. It was tied by an unknown tyer in Bozeman, Montana. For the Gladrian River. Basically tied it when all the hoppers and terrestrials were coming out. That was in 1946, as far as my research is able to bring up for it. But it was really common for these style of flies to have the grizzly hackle collars on them up until 50s, late 50s. Yeah, I try to do a different pattern every time. It's a nice thing about fly tying for content stuff is I can do a different pattern every day and probably not run out until the end of my lifetime. And they're all cool and they all have a use, they all have a story behind them. And it's a good challenge to keep my skills up, because every one of them has a little bit different. Every fly has its own problem that you gotta trying to overcome, right? And it keeps a little bit of the traditional stuff alive, which makes me happy. I don't know. Whenever you find some free time, mate. You put in the work. I'm just gonna adjust my camera here, so just realize it's kind of popping out of the mount. I don't want it falling. There, that'll work. Yeah, she looks centered enough. I'm happy with that. There we go. I tried the last night before bed. I was playing with the what do you call it now? They've released a whole whack of new YouTube features, like 20 or 30 new features. A lot of them for live streaming and shorts. We didn't get them all in Canada yet. We did get a few, and the one that I was playing with last night was the AI generated shorts video feed thing. It's interesting. It was extremely buggy. It took me like an hour to make like a 30-second video. But I'm sure they'll clean all that up and make it cool. Now I'm not sure what I can use it for. I mean, I don't plan on being any sort of AI generated heavy channel, but it's a fun tool. Yeah, we haven't, like, we just started getting the cold in the mornings here. I want to say our cold feels like it's coming quicker than last year, but I'd have to check. Oh, you got a moose. Oh, good for you, man. At least you got meat for the winter. Congratulations. That's a whole day job right there. Oof. Maybe several days job. Depending on if you got help. Yeah, thanks for stopping in, Yoshi. I'm just going to do this one here because I got to get to work myself. Just wanted to enjoy some tea, tie some flies with you guys in the morning here. I'm going to try and jump in and do little short streams more often. Yeah, I guess if it's warm in the fall there for you, it's going to be not as nice to process the meat, eh? Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about the AI stuff. I mean, it's, you know, part of me doesn't want anything to do with it, and the other part of me just can sit there and watch it for hours because it's fascinating. I think it's gonna be a while before doesn't have that creepy factor to it, unfortunately. Yeah, it's one of those things. Once you get harvest like that, you got to put the work in and get it put away, or waste all your effort. Good luck, mate. If I was there, I'd help you cut and hang and sort and clean. Did you split it up with someone, if you don't mind me asking? I know most of the time you get a moose, you generally split it with, like, you know, 3 or 4 people. I won't hold you up. Appreciate you popping in, especially while you're busy. Yeah, I'm taking off. I was just waiting for you to finish up there so I didn't leave on a middle note. Anyway, thank you all for showing up. This is the Crazy Goof. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning, enjoying a nice tea and some time. Yeah, I'm on my first tea. It's almost empty. I'll be on my second here in a minute. And I'll get ready for work. I'll save the world one printer at a time. Later, Shark. Have a good night, man. Or morning. Good luck with the processing. That'll be good middle of winter. Thanks all. Have a good one. Peace out.